Hello, Northumberland Rise Up, it's Todd here, and today we were out on the street, October 31st, in front of Town Hall in Cobourg, Ontario, as we always are, between the hours of 12 noon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had a really interesting sighting. Thanks to one of our members, Tamara. She spotted the Cobourg town mayor, and we were able to do a little bit of ambush journalism on the mayor. We got some questions for him, asking about COVID, asking about all these things. Sorry about the echo in the video audio. The problem was I had got this microphone. It's kind of new and it's got this echo feature, and I didn't realize it was on. It's bearable. It's not really that bad, but I hope you enjoy. This is a video of Mayor Henderson, and we were able to capture him on his way to the car. And I also want to say thank you to the mayor. I'm not bashing him or anything like that. He did stop, he did talk to us, he gave us politician type answers, but regardless, it was still pretty decent of him to stop and talk to us. So without further ado, here's our interview with Mayor Henderson. All right, it looks like we got Mayor Henderson here. Mayor Henderson, can you give us a short interview for my YouTube channel? A short interview for my YouTube channel. Oh, I'm just, I'm not a well-known YouTuber at all. We're Northumberland Rise Up.
No, I'm not interested.
Not interested in talking with the Free Press?
Well, I normally get through my executive assistant. I know that you're coming, I know what it's going to be on, and I know what you're asking of me. So to come in off the cue, I don't even know what you're asking me.
Well, I haven't asked you anything yet. I was just wondering if you would be willing to take a few questions.
Go ahead.
I'm just asking you how you feel about the whole mask mandate, how you feel about the lockdown, just your personal opinions on what's going on.
Well, you're probably going to get a different answer from me because we represent on council the town of Cobourg, and therefore we're representing the corporation and we're representing the citizens. As well, I have a dual role because I also sit on the Board of Health as a board member. So when we work in our emergency response team, we try to work in through provincial mandates. Sometimes they're federal mandates, most often provincial. And we work with the provincial health agencies from the province all the way down to the Halliburton, Kawartha Pine Ridge District Health Unit. And as a result, what we try to do in our emergency response team is to align to those mandates. So if you're asking, does the town of Cobourg follow the mandates? So we're in alignment, I guess my answer to you would be yes. So in summary, are we following all the mandates since the first time, I think it was March whenever COVID started? My answer to you would be yes.
Okay, excellent. Now, I know in the summertime we did have the beach closure here, and I'm not poking any fingers at you or anything like that. And part of the closing of the beach was to keep people away from out of town and for the social distancing. But in fact, we did have a different news agency out here that proved that there were plenty of people still coming to Cobourg regardless. So even though that was implemented, we still did see a surge in people from outside of town coming in regardless of the beach being closed. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the reason we closed the beach, because in our logistics, we didn't find we would have the appropriate resources without extraordinary expense to control, not just for visitors, but even for our own citizens. And as a result, we looked at our demographics. If my demographics are wrong, I apologize, but I think we've got the third oldest demographics in the province of Ontario. We're well above the provincial average. We're well above the average for Northumberland County. Based on that, the team decided to do cautionary steps, to do a phase-in approach, and based on that, the debate, as you know, came before council. It was a healthy debate on all merits, from open to fully closed to phasing in. And council did make the decision to close the beach with the, I believe, I'm thinking back, the date for opening I think was it was either 14th or 16th of October. So we phased that in, and where we are now through council's motion, we are going to study through a committee, through our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee and Emergency Response Team and Council, what does the beach look like moving forward for 2021? I don't have that answer yet because they're going to look at that. What can we do, especially if COVID is with us? And it's no hidden agenda. The numbers in COVID have dramatically increased because when we started, we used to have COVID provincially about 100 plus per day. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the other day was either 700 or 800 cases in the province. With that being said, we know we're not what's called hot zones because that happens to be right now Toronto, Peel, I apologize, there's
Ottawa's another
Ottawa,
one,
and they're looking at two others, potentially Halton and Durham. We're not part of that, but that's why we're all monitoring the numbers.
How do you think the mask mandate plays into the increase in numbers?
The mask mandate?
Yeah, we have seen a huge jump of cases since the mask mandates.
Yeah, in fact, I believe it was over 80% of the people who tested positive were asked if they wear a mask constantly, and their answer was yes. So we've actually seen an increase in cases with people who actually do, in fact, wear the masks.
Well, true, but also what's happening in the province is getting better. I want to credit the province. They're getting better at testing, as we all are. They're getting better at tracing. And as our numbers go up in tracing, because at one point, I mean, the goal was to have 10,000. I think now they're trying to get up to 30 or 40,000. So the sense that we're seeing, the more tracing that's done, what they're finding, they're more asymptomatic people such as yourselves are the carrier, and you don't realize you're the carrier. And then when you go around your family members, and then all of a sudden they take some ill side effects, they're finding, oh my God, I'm testing positive for COVID, and yet you're walking around realizing you don't even have COVID. So when you add in more testing, we're all looking at how we can do better tracing. Yes, we expect the numbers will increase for that, whether you wear a mask or not. The hope is you will wear a mask. That's our hope, because at this point, by me wearing a mask, it won't change my symptoms, but it prevents it from spreading to you and perhaps your spouse or significant other. So that's where the difference lies in.
Capacity of the mask that you're wearing.
Pardon me?
The micron filtering capacity of the mask that you're wearing.
The masks that I'm aware of, unless you're at the N95 level, which are right now being reserved for healthcare workers, what we call first responders. They're probably the most perfect mask that I'm aware of on the market. Every other mask will not be fully 100% proof. I don't know if there is a mask.
Even the N95 isn't.
But it's better in result of having absolutely nothing, because it's the droplets, it's the spreading, it's the air that's causing the difference. So would this help to minimize? Yes. Versus no mask, no mask is no mask.
And can I give you the opportunity, if you have a message to anybody out there who doesn't want to wear a mask, your message to them?
Well, what I am supporting as mayor and our council is promoting, everyone has the right to make their own self-choice. But I would ask, if you don't fit into one of the exceptions that are promoted reasonably by the health unit, then my hope would be that you would strongly consider wearing a mask, if not for your own benefit, for the benefit of others.
Before you go, Mr. Henderson, I just have two quick questions. The first is, as a Board of Health member, how many cases, you say that the tracing's increased, which I assume is a good thing, especially locally. How many cases have you traced back to an asymptomatic carrier?
There's more asymptomatic cases than you would like to believe, because what happens in asymptomatic, they don't display the symptoms right away. Normally it's transferred, and then once we start to show those symptoms such as fever, cough, headache, generally not feeling well, and when they're sent for testing, then some of those tests are coming back certainly positive. That's when the tracing has to start, because then we have to find out who you've been in contact with over the last few days or weeks, and it's a dominoes effect. So
cases connected, though, specifically to asymptomatic transmission, how many of those are there?
I can tell you right now, when we started out, we had approximately 25 at the start of COVID, and the last read, I think we're certainly last count, we're at 45 and growing. You might say, well, that's not significant. But to me, we need to control those cases, because we need to find out the tracing element to keep the numbers low.
So that's the end goal here, is to keep the numbers low. It's not to prevent the hospitals from being overrun.
That's part and parcel, because as I shared with you, we have demographics that are at the very high end. If we ever had an outbreak in a senior's home or a long-term home, if we had that within the town of Cobourg, it wouldn't take long. With all the other natural cases that go when you become a senior, our hospital would be overrun and problematic. Because our hospital is has certain beds. It's not a huge hospital, and you can see that with all the other needs in the community, it would put the hospital at risk in terms of meeting the need of the public. So we're trying to maintain not just the hospital, all our health standards across the board. And the only way you can do that is to keep people out of the hospital.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me jump up on you and interview and shake your hand if you're okay doing that. Oh, come on. We're both wearing gloves. Let's not be afraid. All right. Give me the old elbow bump. All right.
Do you think the mask mandate will be in effect?
As long as I believe from the province, and meeting with Dr. David Williams in conjunction with our own Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Lynn Noseworthy, I think it will be as long as COVID is with us.
You think one day COVID will just disappear and we won't need masks, or what's the?
Well, I'm hoping through a worldwide effort, because it's not a Cobourg effort, it's not a province effort, it's a worldwide effort. I'm hoping that as they work on a vaccine, I think that will certainly help the world collectively. I mean, let's be honest. We have over 10,000 deaths. We broke that level in Canada. That's deaths. That's
and not necessarily.
No, there's been COVID related. So
yes.
so 10,000. You take 10,000. You're taking half the population of Cobourg. That's a significant. You don't think of 10,000 and 33 million people, but think of 10,000. We're just under 20,000 at Cobourg. That means you would lose half of everybody living in Cobourg.
That's pretty doom and gloom.
That's pretty significant. So my answer is, I think mask wearing will be with us until such time that we get a provincial, a federal, a world mandate that we have this unfortunate virus in some degree of control. And right now we don't have that.
Great. Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate you chatting with us, and check us out on YouTube. Northumberland Rise Up. Thanks very much, sir.